What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about Wildstar and what went wrong from launch until now. A lot of people seem to think that I have this mental incapacity to where I just can't see what went wrong with Wildstar and what the game's problems are, and that I love the game so much that I just don't see anything wrong with it at all. And that's just not true. I still like the game. I still plan on playing the game for the foreseeable future, and I think the game will make a comeback just because a lot of people really do like the game, but they just quit for pretty legitimate reasons, but they are very fixable. And I think that is probably the most frustrating thing about this game, is that the things that this game did wrong were so fucking facepalm, oh my god, how did you not see that coming? But things that could be easily fixed. And yeah, no, they made some mistakes, absolutely, but a lot of these mistakes I'm going to be listing are fixed at this point. But they're going to have to win back the trust of people, because a lot of people got burned pretty hard. And the first biggest thing that went wrong with Wildstar at launch was the PvP. What you're watching right here is arena footage. I just recently started doing PvP again because in the past month or so, I recently started doing PvP again, playing twos with Narthor. We have a 98% win ratio this season. We had a 41 game win streak. Only game we lost was to the field probes bug. And that was pretty shitty to lose to that. But yeah, we lost the field probes bug, and then I said never again, and we started using field probes because, that's one of the things with this game, man. This field probe shit has been bugged for over a week. It's been bugged since drop 3, and it's not fixed. It's a perfect example of a small thing that can be easily fixed. I'm not a fucking game developer, but how fucking hard could it be to fix field probes to make it not apply the Mortal Strike debuff on top of the pre-existing one in arenas? How fucking time consuming could that be to fix? Because it's ruining twos right now. And me and Narthor, while we could just play and abuse the fuck out of it, I just don't want to. So yeah, it sucks to have our win loss. Or not, our win-loss isn't fucked. We have a 98% win-loss ratio, literally. We've won 41 games in a row and lost one, so whatever that adds up to, that we've only lost one game. So, but I just personally don't want to play if we almost have to abuse a bug or we're just put at a disadvantage. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm getting a little off topic. So, the number one thing that went wrong with this game, and the one thing that people quit for that I can't say they quit for a bad reason, was the PvP. The PvP at the start of this game was so bad that a hardcore WoW PvPer, somebody that's, my claim to fame was WoW PvP arenas. I was rank 3 Feral Druid and Wrath all through Season 7 and almost all through Season 8. That was my claim to fame. That's what got me my YouTube popularity. That's what I do. That's what I do. And I thought the PvP was so bad that I didn't even start doing it until about a month ago. And they fixed a lot of these PvP issues, but oh my god, it was terrible. The PvP was fucking awful. And it was bad for all the wrong reasons. The combat was fun. The BGs were fun. The class balance was pretty good. Sure, DPS Stalkers were kind of at the very start, but after they made Impale completely instant cast, and they fixed a few other things with Stalkers, they came back into the limelight, and they're pretty fucking good right now. I really don't see anything that's completely broken or completely overpowered at this point. Medics got a nice little buff this patch. Medics were the only class that I thought was kind of pretty shitty, but they got buffed just recently, and they seem like they're definitely good. And yeah. So far, class balance, pretty good. Gameplay has always been fun. But, dude, the biggest mistake they ever made was that the itemization team basically killed the PvP at launch. The 1800 gear for warriors and engineers, AP heavy classes, was 60%. It was a 60% power increase. You did 30% more damage and took 30% less damage. The armor values on the 1800 gear versus the non-1800 gear were ridiculous. The AP you got, the crit, dude, it was insane. An 1800 warrior versus a non-1800 warrior, you'd have to be mentally retarded to lose if you were in 1800 gear at that point. And that's why boosts and carries were so prominent, is because it didn't matter how good you were. If some guy had the 1800 gear and you didn't, again, especially if you were a warrior or engineer, you were fucked. You were actually fucked. And I remember I tried doing some arenas when I didn't have the 1800 gear, and I fucking unbelievably lost to a carry team because this warrior that I faced just fucking wrecked me. He just fucking absolutely wrecked me. And I kind of just stopped doing PvP until they fixed the gear. And eventually they fixed the gear, and that's when I got back into it. But, you know, they took way too fucking long to do that. They took months to do that, and it just completely fucked the PvP. And anybody that didn't do PvP early and get that 1800 gear really quickly when people were doing arenas and not intentionally tanking their rating, they were fucked because it was extremely hard to get your 1800 gear. It was extremely hard to play at an 1800 level without having any of the 1800 gear because people were intentionally tanking their rating at that point when most people were at the point where they could get their 1800 gear. So yeah, it's pretty terrible. And you unlocked all the 1800 gear as soon as you hit 1800. It's not like now where they stagger the gear. You know, they've made a lot of improvements with PvP. And PvP right now, once they fix these stupid fucking issues that they've taken way too long to fix, and then it's not like huge issues, it's just like, wow, why can you use the campfire buff in arenas? Why can you eat food in arenas? Or why can you get the food buff in arena, to be more specific? Just stupid shit like that can be easily fixed. But it's just like, why is this not fixed yet? Like, this isn't some crazy issue like warriors, like for example in WoW, like fixing Vanish. Like I never went to Blizzard and I was like, you guys gotta fix Vanish, because that's like a really complicated issue with latency and server side versus client side. There's a lot of shit to that. This is just like, god damn guys, fix fucking field probes. How hard could it be? Jesus Christ. Because like all the issues I have with the PvP in this game have nothing to do with anything complicated. It's just like ridiculous shit that they haven't fixed yet. That it's easy to fix. Another thing, just the itemization team. I feel bad for the PvP team because the PvP team I think did pretty well, but the itemization team fucking raped the PvP. There was a gadget called Slow It Down that is Slow It Down proc. There was a 90% snare on a weapon attachment. I think it was a weapon attachment. 90% snare, and you can have it up 100% of the time. How the fuck did that exist? There was gadgets that you could exploit and like instantly heal yourself with. Interrupt armor shields. I'm just thinking of the stuff off the top of my head right now. There was so much stuff that just fucking raped the PvP at the start of this game. And to any pure PvPers that quit this game at launch, I can't blame you, because I fucking quit PvP at launch too, and I didn't do it until they fixed the gear. So yeah, the PvP is almost tragic because it got ruined for all the wrong reasons. But it's pretty good now, honestly. I'm actually really enjoying myself. But the problem is that the original installation base got burned so hard that even the people that are still playing the game, a lot of them aren't doing PvP anymore because they had such a bad experience from the start. So Carbine's gonna have to do something to relaunch the PvP in this game. Maybe throw out, once they get the patch out and once they really fix everything and they think they've got a really solid product, maybe throw out some free game time to anybody that unsubbed, or I don't know, have some sort of initiative to push PvP again, because it's good. It's just that people got burned so hard at the start. And I think that's about everything I want to say for PvP. Oh wait, there was one more thing about PvP that I almost missed, and this is tragically stupid. You didn't lose rating for declining queues. If you queued up for 2v2 and you didn't face your win trading 2s team, you could just leave the queue and you'd lose no points. That was either idiotic or just they missed it. They just either completely didn't even think that people would win trade, or they're just idiots. Like, there's no fucking way that I can't believe they missed that. I cannot believe that you could leave a queue and not lose rating. I can't believe that to this day. So yeah, a lot of people ended up win trading, get their 1800 gear, be 60% more powerful than everyone, and just fucking destroyed the game. So luckily that has been fixed, for all you guys wondering. That actually got fixed in drop 2 maybe, but still, holy fuck, that was a really big issue. Now let's get on to the PvE side of things. And the PvE side of things, there's really nothing personal that I didn't like that much, but this is what's interesting about Wildstar, is that Carbine made the game that people wanted. From the PvE side of view, Carbine made the game that people wanted. People said they wanted 40-man raids. They said they wanted super hard raids, super hard dungeons, no welfare epics, a hard game that you could, the hardcore player would be rewarded in. People said they wanted that. And Carbine delivered. They had a hard attunement. GA was pretty difficult. Getting into raiding itself was pretty hard at the start. And it turns out people didn't really want that. They said they wanted it, but it turns out they really didn't. And that's, again, pretty fucking tragic. The attunement, while I personally enjoyed it, I didn't really like the time limit on the dungeons. I never really liked that, but I did it, and I didn't complain about it. But I remember doing it, and I'm like, this is kind of stupid. Like, why are we speedrunning a dungeon? What does this have to do with rating? I definitely agree with having to do the dungeons and adventures, because that makes sense. But the speedrunning part, I never really enjoyed, so that's, you know. I personally didn't like that, but I didn't see that much of an issue with it. But a lot of people, dude, a lot of people couldn't even clear the dungeons. There was one particular guy that's a big badass and wow, GM of his own guild. Couldn't even clear Stormtalon's lair. Couldn't even clear Stormtalon's fucking lair. And he quit the game because he said it was too casual. And that shit cracked me up so much. This guy, supposedly a big wow badass, couldn't even do STL. So a lot of people got their egos severely hurt. They thought they were badasses and they just got wrecked in a completely new game that, yeah. So I think that's where a lot of the pure Wildstar hatred, I see why a lot of people quit the game, but I don't see why a lot of people hate on the game even though they're not playing it. Like on the Wildstar subreddit, and I think a lot of it is because they got their egos hurt. I really think that's where a lot of the hatred comes from, is that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's very likely. So the attunement, I don't think they'll ever do another one. And if they do another attunement, it won't be anywhere close to as intensive as the previous one was. Other than the silver dungeon timers, I don't think anything was like stupid. I thought the quest was pretty good. The rep grind was not bad. I disagree with anybody that said that was grindy. That shit, I finished that shit like the second day of the game being out. You got rep for doing dungeons, you got rep for doing adventures, you got rep for doing dailies, you got rep for questing. I think I was almost max rep by the time I hit level 50. So I personally didn't mind the rep. But the silver dungeons and adventures is where I think a lot of people didn't like it, and I personally didn't like it. I thought it was kind of silly, the timers, but I didn't complain about it. So, you know, the attunement, a lot of people couldn't raid, man. A lot of people, there was no casual raiding. That's the thing. That's absolutely something that you couldn't do in this game at the start. There was no such thing as casual raiding. If you were attuned for raiding in the first month, you were a good player. A lot of people, there's probably some people in my guild that are super elitist. Yeah, I fucking baddies. Attunement wasn't that hard. But I think that if you were attuned in the first month, I think you're a pretty solid player. You're definitely above average by a good bit, at least in my opinion. So, you know, that crippled the game a little bit. And I can't really blame Carbine for that. People said they wanted it. They just fucking lied. They absolutely just fucking lied about the game they wanted. GA was pretty good. I don't think anybody's got too many complaints about GA. Omna was really buggy. Again, I think only like maybe 60 people encountered the Omna bugs, maybe even 40. Enigma and Eugenic are probably the only two guilds that really encountered them as hard as anybody else. I think almost all that shit was fixed all the shit was fixed by the time I got to it. I wasn't in Enigma at that point, so GA was pretty solid. I can't think of any problems I had with GA. Now on to Datascape. 40-man rating. That's what everybody wanted, but nobody was prepared for it. I mean, nobody was prepared for it. Eugenic wasn't prepared for it. I think Voodoo was prepared for it, but at the same time, I don't think they were either. We weren't prepared for it. And, yeah, 40-man, that was a hard adjustment, a really hard adjustment. And it was even magnified by the fact that System Daemons, while I love the fight, and I was so happy we got world first on it. It's the world first that I'm the most proud of. System Daemons. We've got world first Fire Water. That was a cool fight. That absolutely was a fun fight. You know, all execution based. But I still, in my opinion, the one I'm the most proud of is System Daemons. And even if we get world first Avitus, I think I might still be most proud of System Daemons just because that fucking fight took the longest of all of them. I don't think Avitus is going to take 41 days. It took us 41 days to get world first on System Daemons, and in my opinion, that first boss was too hard. To go from System Daemons to the mini bosses, you go from System Daemons, and then the next thing we kill is some stupid ass probe that's literally 20 manable. Like, how the fuck? that for your introduction into 40-man raiding, it's like me learning how to play basketball for the first time ever and then facing LeBron James one-on-one. So having that first gatekeeper boss was not the best move. It caused a lot of people to quit the game because, fuck, dude. I never thought about quitting the game, but there was a lot of times where we finished raid and I was happy we were done. I was like, man, I'm kind of glad we're done because I don't really want to be pulling system damage anymore. I never missed a raid. I've only ever missed one raid. I guess two, but the two I missed, one never even started, and the other one I missed. So, yeah, whew, dude, that first fight was ridiculous. So, 40-man raiding, I'm not surprised that it's going away personally. I think that the performance-wise, logistically, I thought it was a fun experiment. I didn't think it was going to last. I personally enjoyed it, but I would be lying if I said it was going to last. There's not really much I could say about that other people don't already know. So I'll just leave that alone. But I think 20-man, having one raid size, one raid difficulty, is a good move. And that's pretty much all I can say about that. Now on to the casual content. The casual content is one part where Wildstar has received a lot of criticism. A lot of the criticism is warranted, but the thing is man, it's just hard to have the same kind of casual content that WoW has, because a lot of WoW's, quote, casual content comes from the game just being fucking old. Like, a lot of stuff that people do in WoW where they, like, run old dungeons for mounts and run old dungeons for transmog gear. Like, those are the two big casual things that people do in WoW. Those just, you can't really... Wildstar's not 10 years old. This shit just doesn't exist yet. They could do better with having, like, rare mounts that you can get and stuff like that. I would like to see that. The housing is great. I don't think anybody... I haven't heard anybody talk shit about Wildstar housing. That's like the one part of the game that everybody just knows is amazing. Like, I've never had a WoW fanboy, like, talk shit about Wildstar housing, because it's the fucking bomb. Like, Garrisons got completely wrecked. I would like to see Wildstar housing... They could absolutely copy some of the stuff from Garrisons and put it into Wildstar. In terms of customization, nothing beats Wildstar. But in terms of usefulness, I think the Garrisons have, like, a decent amount of usefulness. The Wildstar housing is kind of, like, just for fun. There is some use to it, but it's kind of not really. So I'm sure with time, Wildstar will just, Carbine will just copy stuff that WoW did, because that makes sense and everyone does it. So I'd like to see them copy some of the stuff from Garrisons. I don't know too much about them, but I'm sure that there's some things in Garrisons that are pretty fucking cool. So casual content, man, it's just hard. As the game gets older, there'll be more and more casual content. The hardcore content of today will be the casual content of tomorrow. Eventually, GA is going to be like the Karazhan that everybody runs, and there'll be a bunch of GA guilds because fucking anybody can run GA. Karazhan, back when that came out, was hard, and nobody fucking ran that shit. And towards the end of BC, every guild was in that. So that's neat. But it's really hard to put a finger on how to make good casual content. It's just, I don't know. It's hard. I think of what WoW has that isn't transmog, or isn't it isn't transmog, and it isn't running old stuff for mounts. Like, what does WoW have that is truly good casual content that's not dailies, it's not running old stuff, it's not transmog? I can't really think of anything. What do casuals do? The PvP is a big thing. You queue it for 1 or 2 BGs. I guess LFR, I guess. But, again, people said they didn't want that in this game. I don't think it'll work in this game, personally. I would not like that. But what do they do? This is like one of those times where you have to be a little bit empathetic for the devs, because, fuck, how do you design casual content? Anyway, I just want to make a video talking about the problems Wildstar has, because I haven't done one of these videos maybe ever, or at least in a very long time. Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, oh my god, I can't believe he's come to the light. You should come back and play WoD, lol. I have no intentions of playing WoD. I'm sure that the WoD fucking honeymoon phase is going to end here in about 2 or 3 weeks, because that's what always happens. And I would expect some more people to hop back on Wildstar here pretty soon. But yeah, no, the game, I still like the game. There's no other MMO that I plan on playing. I do plan on playing some other games here pretty soon. I think we'll kill Avitus soon-ish. I'm looking forward to Avitus dying, just because we've been raiding 6 days a week, 5 hours a day since basically system daemons, and it's been a long time, and I'm enjoying it, but, you know, it's a long time. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think. Are you still keeping an eye on Wildstar? I think a lot of you guys probably are still keeping an eye on it. And I would expect the WoD honeymoon phase, as that comes towards an end and people start to realize that it's not the cat's pajamas forever. I think there's going to be a little bit more eyes on Wildstar, and people are going to be wondering, what's going on in Wildstar? You know, I've been fucking, you know, we killed all the raid content in a fucking week. What do we do now? So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. And hope you enjoyed the arena backdrop footage. I think I have a decent bit more arena clips, but, you know. Anyway, I'm rambling. See you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the video.